Welcome to the Open Books Podcast, where we discuss all things going on in the real estate industry, helping you take the road less traveled to real estate success, guiding you to the top 10%. I am here alongside my co-hosts Brooke Massey and Casey Tudor, and I am Curtis Haddock. It's a pleasure to have you guys here today.
Thank you for introducing me first.
You're welcome.
No thanks
I've been
for
doing
that.
Casey, haven't I?
Yeah, I'm like, what happened to like ladies first?
Well,
I'm still a lady.
I don't know. You know, I just
we don't know anymore.
It was just natural to, go.
The rules change.
Yeah, well, he's like your right hand man. So I mean, I get it.
What if I'm a lady?
I mean, sometimes you are.
Sometimes we can't tell.
Yeah.
Today you're his right hand man, and I'm his left hand lady.
There you go. You guys doing all right today, though?
Doing good.
Surviving.
Casey, you had a pretty good week this week. Sounds
Been
like
busy. Going to Tulsa today.
And actually,
Tulsa.
What's in Tulsa?
I have an appointment with a gentleman that wants to expand his business.
Ooh, I like those.
We're gonna have cigars, and I'm gonna have to tough through it because I don't really care for cigars that much.
Is this a business that is where he's smoozing you potentially?
I don't really know. It's a casual cigar.
What kind of business is it?
It's real estate.
Well, I was thinking like, is it a vendor? That's what I was asking.
No, it's a realtor. It's a broker owner.
The one that you got on the phone last week. That one time. Okay, well that's cool. Brooke
So
had
it's gonna be a
week
good
too.
cigar.
Yeah, hopefully.
Better be mild.
I've had a really good week. We'll see what the leaderboard looks like next week, Casey.
Okay.
Well,
I don't think it'll be that high, but I did have a good
I
week.
just closed some bigger ones, so
Good.
You can have it.
yeah,
next week.
but you listed some big ones. So if they go under contract, then
Yeah, we're listing.
You still got
3
3
million.
days.
We're listing 3 million this week.
Damn.
you keep saying that the week's almost over. When are they going to go up?
Well, they keep delaying the dang signatures, man. It's going to happen today.
Okay.
Oh, guess you're a little slow getting
funny.
those signatures.
It's funny. Last week, it's been like a couple of weeks with this big one. Like, hey, I got 2 million listing this week. Next week, I got 2 million in listings this week coming up.
At least he has it to say every week.
I know. Well, they keep delaying the signatures, so next week I'll have another 2 million in listings going up. But
It's weird. I
Yeah.
had people sign my listing agreements fast.
yeah. Well,
Well, this is a commercial deal. And they're clearly
that's totally
just
different.
not in a hurry to
No.
get things rolling.
Well-
and, I just keep telling them I'm on your timeline. Just let me know.
Mm-hmm.
or maybe you should
That's
tell
like
them
a-
that you're on their timeline. Maybe you should start, pushing for your timeline.
Yeah.
We're gonna hear Casey say that then for like the next 3 weeks at least.
I know.
Okay. We'll see about that.
Next week I'll ask him on the podcast. So, did you get your commercial listing go live yet?
Well, you'll just have to make sure we release these in the right order. So
We don't.
yeah, so it doesn't matter.
It's going to be confusing.
You can
no
just
matter
go
what.
listen
That
to all
means-
of them, and you can put the
Yes.
pieces together.
That's what I was gonna say. It's a puzzle
It's a puzzle.
piece. We put
Should
your
we-
own scavenger hunt.
Should we do a
Yeah.
challenge, like a reward for if someone can correctly identify the order that we recorded them in?
The only problem is we're also gonna have to remember that.
I'd say I'd give them $1 million, but then they'd have some kind of AI thing that would figure out the dates they were recorded, and then they'd give us all an order and be like, "What the heck?"
Be like, man,
Yeah.
you're so smart.
But I would never say $1 million because they would never know. It's a crap
Probably
shoot.
not. Probably not.
Okay, well today,
Why are we even here?
what are we talking about?
Well, that's
why?
it.
Why are
Yeah.
we here?
Oh,
Yeah,
why?
Why?
Yeah, we're
the
gonna-
big question, why?
We talk about this topic a lot, and it's very cliche, but why? Why are we here? Why real estate? What's the point of it all? And we encourage everybody. In fact, whenever I have a new agent join the team, that's one of the first. I do it in the actual recruiting appointment.
How many people do you know think they've actually got that figured out there?
I think it's very, very few.
Yeah.
To have it figured out, like actually figured out.
Well, I think I'm still.
Yeah, and I would
think
still
it's
kinda argue it.
evolving, really.
it can
Yeah.
be. It can be.
It should be.
Yeah, in a
'Cause your
sense, because
business-
your goals are going to change, and
Your
you know.
business evolves, right? Unless you just keep it, kind of same pace and focus right there.
I mean, I guess I can yes and no, but I mean, if your why is if it's changing all the time, then maybe it's not strong enough.
That could be true.
So, I mean, then that's why I think a lot of people don't truly have it figured out, because they don't know what they want. And so if you don't know what you want, then maybe then you're why you're doing this might change. Your business is ever evolving and you're always growing, but why you're doing this and why you are wanting it to grow and get better, I don't think should change. Because
the deep-rooted cause,
yes,
at least?
the deep-rooted part of it, because then you haven't gone deep enough with your why. And so, obviously what we're talking about is just, finding your why, starting with your why. I mean, if you don't start with why, then I feel like you're going to always be chasing something, and your mindset won't be strong enough to get you through when times get tough.
Or you'll wake up in the morning and you have a whole bunch of stuff to do and you're like, man, why am I even doing this?
Yeah. Or you'll get discouraged. Something bad will happen. And, everybody gets, has bad days and deals that bust and, transactions that are difficult and tough conversations. And it's a big reason why I believe so many people fail in real estate is because they don't know how to handle those tough days.
In your whenever the bad things are happening, because they always do, it's like when you don't know your why, you're like, you really focus in on that. And then I'll like kind of slide into that and I'll be really focusing in on it and be like, oh my God, I hate this so much. Why am I even doing this? And I just remind myself, think about why you're doing it. And this really is just not a big deal in the big picture.
Right.
Yeah. Like you're still going to have those emotions and still going to have those days, and it's okay to have those days. I think a lot of people forget that. Like you're going to have feelings and you need to feel them. So, but your why,
learn how to work through them.
Yeah. Your why is supposed to be there. So that way, once you're done working through them or feeling those feelings, you can start thinking positively to help get you back out and get you back on track.
And early on in this conversation, basically I was saying like, I try to start with new agents, like at the recruiting appointment, like getting them thinking on this line of thinking, if you will, and asking them, well, why are you even pursuing your real estate license? What's the point of doing this as a career? And many of them, they haven't actually thought
they're
through
like,
that.
I just want to make a lot of money.
Well,
or I want to make my own schedule.
The answer that gets me every time is, well, I love looking at houses. I love design, and I could sell anything to anybody. And
Yeah.
I'm like, ugh.
Well, I mean, some people might, I think I get that answer too, and I take it at face value. Like maybe, like they could be deeply passionate about it, because just because I'm not doesn't mean that they can't be, and that can't be like a strong desire for why they got into real estate.
I guess I'm looking at it a little bit differently, because I think I assume what they're thinking is, I'm going to get into real estate and I'm going to help people design their homes, but really, like nobody has any money. Like they're barely scraping by to get into the homes, and those are generally the challenges you're facing. And all the designers have generally been in the business a while.
Yeah, but there are designers that do good, right?
Sure.
So like, and I think that most,
but they've done it a while. And
well, I think, but so I mean, they had to start somewhere.
Well,
right?
sure.
Right. So I think most people are thinking along the lines of what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
I think a majority, when they answer the question that way, they have no idea like what it entails to actually be able to be a designer.
Because it sounds fun.
Right.
But
and looking at
no
$1
jobs
million
are fun.
houses and really nice houses sounds fun, and everyone loves looking at houses online, but they don't realize the actual work that goes into it. However, when someone tells me that, I stop myself from assuming that they fall into the former category.
Yeah.
I want to give them the benefit of the doubt, because if I can help them tap into that and they truly have that passion, then I don't want to be the person that stops them from.
swat them out of the air.
You can start asking questions, and
that's
then
what you got to do.
and then
ask questions.
realize all of a sudden that it was their grandma's biggest thing, and they wanted to be an interior designer or whatever, and go in and do that. And
now they're fulfilling that dream.
Yeah, and that and that their grandma's was the one that raised them and helped them through certain stuff and yada yada, then that makes sense why they're doing it, you know?
Yeah. You know, and I even think it's going to go deeper
Yes.
than that
It
anyways.
has to be more than that too.
Yeah, I mean, it has to go down to what are your core values and who you are as a person, as to why you are doing this. Because here's the reality of it. Our identity should not be tied in like what we do. It should be tied in the why.
Yeah,
why
are we doing it?
Why are we doing it? Because I can take my why. And I can, if real estate completely crashed and failed, my why doesn't change, right? I just am moving it to another opportunity or another career because, real estate crashed and failed. However, you got to be careful with that because a lot of people, because they don't have a why that is strong enough, they're constantly looking for the what to try to fulfill their why or whatever. If that makes any sense. So I guess what I mean by that is
they're always searching.
Yeah, they're always searching for something new because they hit that roadblock, they hit that challenge in whatever career or job they were choosing at the time, and because they didn't have a strong why, they got defeated or experienced one of those rough emotional bad days.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, I have got to find something else to do because I cannot stand my job, right? And they never learn how to break through that barrier, and then every day they wake up and think the grass is greener on the other side, but they don't realize that when they get to the other side, the grass might be green on the first day,
but you still got to water it.
Yeah, and there's going to be a barrier that you're going to face one day, and you're going to have to figure out how to get through it. Otherwise, you're going to move on to the next job or the next career choice.
And then you're going to kill all the green grasses for everybody else.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Well, you're
moving around.
You're gonna wear
So stay out of my
You're
yard.
going to wear everyone out doing that too. You're going to wear your family out because it's hard enough as it is, and just always trying to start over. Like you're never going to reach that tipping point. That's a book.
Well, your why should be. I just finished that book actually this week.
Is that Malcolm Gladwell? Yeah.
Yep. It was
God,
actually a
that
really
guy's
good book. Now I forgot what I was going to say.
Well, I think that okay, go ahead.
Your why should be like really, really strong and powerful. Like it should make you feel a type of way at that point. Like if I talk about my why, then I almost cry because I'm so passionate about it.
Are you trying to start like a cat rescue or something? Is that what gives you all?
Yes.
Well,
Yes. No.
that's why we have to start. You have to start with why. Otherwise, you will find yourself jumping from job to job, or even from broker to broker. Constantly searching for something to fulfill you, and when in reality, like if you really sat down and figured out like your purpose, then you can then go find the brokerage that's going to cater to that purpose.
Yeah, you need to fill yourself up. I always say fill your cup. So understand what that is and look into yourself. What do you need to change first? What do you need to discover? Because at the end of the day, it is you. You're your own business. It doesn't matter what brokerage you go to or what coach or what mentor you go to or whose team you're on. At the end of the day, if you don't look in and find that for yourself, then I don't know.
Yeah, because then you're not going to be able to apply whatever it is any brokerage is telling you to do because you don't have that strong desire to do it. A lot of people go to the grass is greener because they're seeking comfort. They're seeking easy, simple
leads.
Leads. But even if not real estate specific, any time people are going and searching for a job or a career, those are the things that I think we're looking for.
Like convenience.
Convenience is a great adjective to describe what people are looking for. And then when they get into it and it ends up not being those things, that's when
You
it
pay a higher price.
breaks down and they start thinking about other things and search. The people who actually understand that it's not going to be convenient always, it's not going to be comfortable, it's not going to be easy. You're going to have to, have days where you don't feel like getting out of bed, but you do it anyways because your why is so strong that that's all you think about, right?
Here's a silly little analogy. It's like if people, they pay a high price for convenience,
Yeah.
right? Just like they have convenience stores. You go pay, $4 for a little Coke, but you could go buy a 2-liter at the grocery store for $1 if you did the hard work and actually just
Right.
drove to the grocery
Yeah.
store.
Yeah.
But a lot of people just pay a higher price and they're okay with it.
And think about what that person
Unless
that
you live where I
provides the
live,
convenience has to go through.
and $2 in gas just to get to that.
Even just the
2-liter.
convenience store.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's
Casey.
okay. I was just saying to think about what the people providing the convenience go through. So it's like basically, if you're providing convenience, you're going to be inconvenienced. So
Yeah, that's a good
Oh.
point.
for
Like,
that one Coke that guy gets every day, you have to have an entire store full of stuff so other people can buy to keep you in business.
Yep.
And that's stressful.
but they might have a strong why and they love doing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or if you're open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, well, someone's going to have to be
And if
working
someone
that
gets
shift.
sick, man, that would suck. And I think that's one thing about real estate people don't even think about is how inconvenienced this job is.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Because if someone wants to go see a house tonight, like, man, I was going to cook burgers, but now I'm not.
Or
Yep.
your kids were so excited to see their dad and like get to whatever you guys were going to do that night, but it's like, sorry, I got to go do XYZ because there's that expectation. Now, obviously, you as a business owner, we learn to set boundaries, and
That's
I
a
think,
different
I think-
episode.
Yeah, I think go
Yeah.
listen to the boundary
I was like-
episode. But
Yeah.
My wife and I just had this conversation. I was like, it's so weird. Today I can do a bunch of this computer stuff. I was like, it's so hard to get used to
Good luck.
real estate.
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
because it's like, you may have a set time, but then all of a sudden you have a client, they need to list their house, and this is the only time the photographer can take photos. So it's like,
okay,
well, I guess I'm not working on my computer now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyways.
Well, one thing I was going to say, well, a couple things, but I'll start with, I think a lot of people, when we ask them what their why is, we get a lot of the same answers, and and maybe our audience, if they've asked this question to people, maybe comment what.
Well, what's your why?
What
Audience?
yeah. Comment either what
Think
your
about
why
it right
is.
now before we talk about it.
Yeah, what's your
what do you
why?
think it is?
Comment what your why is, and or if what you hear other people say their why is. In I don't care what industry you are, probably most of our listeners are in the real estate industry. However, what I hear the most often is always going to be kind of either what Casey said, like, oh man, I just love houses and I love, looking at, pretty houses and or interior design. And, that's what people think of with real estate, or money, right? I'm here to make extra money. I want to be, they don't say I want to be rich, but you kind of gather that from what
Yeah.
they're talking,
Yeah.
and the first question that you ask them when they give that answer to help them go deeper is,
Why do you want to be rich?
why? What the heck do you need money for? You
Yeah.
know, I mean, obviously we need it to
Or
survive
what?
and pay the bills, but why? Why do you want to look at pretty houses? Why do you want to be an interior designer?
I actually just learned something because I helped somebody with their why, an agent out of state this week. And they said, don't ever actually, if you're trying to think about your why, don't ask why. As weird as it is, ask like what, how, different questions like that. Because when you immediately ask why, it's such a broad thing that it makes you kind of shut down sometimes.
Yeah, because they may be wondering why you're asking that, or
Correct.
what they're expecting, or what they think that you want to hear.
Yeah.
Instead, because I've got a friend. I mean, he makes probably at least $1 million a year, if not more, and his wife is an interior designer, and he always jokes with me about it. He goes, my wife's business cost me $100,000 a year for her to do it.
Yeah.
But she actually loves it and doesn't do it for the money. She does it because she likes to design and help her friends out.
No.
Would she be able to do it without that $100,000 a year investment though?
I don't know. She might have to start charging her friends. I don't know what that looks like.
Yeah,
but
because then how would she advise some other people to be able to fulfill
she
that?
wouldn't.
You know, what I mean?
But she doesn't need to because she's just doing it for fun, essentially.
Sure, but I think that like the why. I mean, not everyone has that that blessing. I would
Right.
say where you can just do your why can be your passion and you don't have to monetize it.
But I think real estate and what you do could get you to those things.
Oh, 100%.
That's why I do
100% it can. But the reality of life is you have to figure out your why within the limitations of the world, right? Like you still have to provide and live and and do all of those things, and you have to figure that out, within the answer to those questions, like what and how and things like that. And I try to sometimes avoid the what and the how sometimes because I don't want to find identity in those things to where it prevents me from taking it deeper. You know what I mean?
Well, it's like instead of like, why do you want to make a lot of money? It's like, what do you want to make a lot of money for? That's the kind of my initial thought. And yeah, you have to be careful with how you ask it or whatever.
I think that that's the same question as to why do you want to make a lot of money. I think you just have to understand that you got to take it deep. You can't just stay on the surface level of everything, because then if you just stay surface level, it won't be strong enough to get you through the tough days.
Right.
I know, I'm sure you guys have had the thought too. I mean, I can't tell you how many times, especially in the last year with how tough real estate has been, that I've like, man, I wish I could just quit. Like I know that so many people go through that. Like, man, like it has been so tough, like with so many different, challenges, whether it's finance or, mostly finance, right? But emotions, dealing with people, family, and the what they have to sacrifice in order for us to be able to do what we do.
Yeah,
it's been like, it's been challenging, and if I didn't wake up, if I didn't have my why to fall back on, 100% I would have quit already.
Yeah, and I think you have to.
I kid you not.
And you got to look at like super successful people too, and like NBA players, because you follow all the trades and stuff too. And it's like, this guy is hanging his hat up after 4 years in the NBA and he's a millionaire, and it's like, why is he quitting? What's going on? Mm-hmm. And so like, and why does nobody want to join the Lakers right now? There's just like all those things that goes on the backside. You just think, oh, he's a millionaire and he plays in the NBA and he's living his dream, and it's like, well, maybe he's not.
Maybe that was just a stepping stone to get to
do
his dream.
Because I actually saw a list. It was like the top 10, the highest net worth of NBA players, current and past, right? And number 2 on the list
is MJ number 1.
MJ number 1.
Okay.
Yeah. Number 2 on the list was a guy I had never even heard of.
MJ number 1. What do you mean?
Michael
he's
Jordan.
number 1.
Yeah.
I was
highest
like,
net worth.
Okay.
And and he's also number 1 in
it didn't make sense when you guys said it.
Yeah.
That's why I was like, I know he's number 1, but why'd you say it like that?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the number 2 guy, I wish I could pull up he might have been number 2 or number 3, but I was shocked because I was thinking like it's going to be the well-known
like LeBron James
people.
or
yes,
something?
like those types of guys. And LeBron was on the list.
Well,
but,
right.
But I figured it'd be people that were like, the best of the best, getting endorsements and getting high salaries.
Yeah.
And like those were going to be the highest net worth guys. Well, this guy was actually, and this is this number 2 guy. He might be number 3. He played back in like the 70s.
Wow, and they didn't pay.
And he made $350,000 a year playing. And today, from today's standards, he is the second or third highest net worth of all NBA players. Well,
why?
He made great.
He's a brand
business investment. He's not even a brand, because I didn't even know who he was.
Yeah,
I couldn't.
Well, that's true.
So
Well, that proves to you don't have to be anybody to be
no,
successful.
he made super great. He invested in Wendy's basically at the beginning of
Yeah.
time, or
Which what
whatever.
Shaquille O'Neal does
and,
too.
And became very, very, very wealthy from it. So Shaquille, he was on the list at like number 6 or something like that. But anyways, I just thought it was interesting. I don't even know why I brought that.
Well,
up.
I think my whole point to all that too was just because it looks glamorous, they get in this, and then all the sacrifices they make, they don't get to see their family. They're getting traded and sent around. But I heard
might
a
have
good
different
analogy.
values, you
I heard a
know?
good analogy of this the other day. Basically, like owning a sports team is like back in the day whenever you had gladiators and you put them in an arena for sport.
Yeah.
You know,
That's
the only
funny.
difference is these guys aren't getting murdered and they're making
Elbow
millions of
him in the
dollars.
nose.
Yeah.
But they are being flown around the country, and they don't really get a say in what they're doing. They just have to do it, you know. And I think it probably wears a lot of them.
Well,
down.
they get a say in a sense that they can quit. They
Right.
don't have to do it,
Right.
And they're getting paid good money. Like it's their job. Mm-hmm. That's people forget that the professional athletes, it's a job.
I
for
think I
them,
would love it
you know?
personally.
Well, I think most people would. You know, I'm sure that my family would be fine if I was gone for 6 months out of the year.
Yeah.
If
I'm sure
doing
they
that.
wouldn't be.
They would be fine. They'd be fine. But they'd be coming with me, right?
Yeah.
And you could
Because
afford,
you could afford that.
that.
Yeah, you could afford different lifestyles. Anyways, you guys want to talk about your whys?
Sure.
I think when you get down to the core of a why, I think that you're going to find a lot of commonalities in highly successful people.
Yeah. To be simple, my why is I don't want to be poor because I grew up without a lot of money, and that's not really fun. And so I just needed an opportunity that could kind of get me on a path to start making good money. And it took me until I was in my early 30s to even find that. But so there again, it's part of my process was searching for so many years. But really, what I want to do is just make enough money to where I don't have to worry about paying for my bills, and if my kids need anything health wise, I can cover it without worrying or borrowing money. I just don't want money to be a point of contention when it comes to like health and stuff like that. So that's kind of why. But then I also want to make enough money to where I can slow things down in the future and then do things I enjoy.
Yes.
So like, and I actually already am doing that already. I'm already getting to play music and travel around and go to different states and play music. But if I was in my old industry, I would not be doing that right now. So like, I feel like I'm on my way to getting to where I want to be.
Yeah.
It's just taking time.
Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
When you were younger and you were quote unquote poor, and you said it wasn't fun, why wasn't it fun?
Well, so I always go back to like when I'd go to youth group, like we'd go out to eat afterwards, and I would have like my parents would give me like $3, and so if we went to Taco Bueno, I could get like 2 tacos and a water, and everyone else was getting like Mexi dips and chips, and they're getting the combos and these giant sodas, and I just always felt kind of left out.
Do you blame your parents for that?
Well, I believe that they did the best they could with the circumstances and the parenting they were given. They were more taught to go get a job and ride out the clock and retire.
So do you think that your childhood would have been better if you didn't have to experience
Can't say that. Can't say that because
Like you would have been more loved. You would have had more friends. You would have.
no, because what if my dad made twice the money he made, but he was never home? I put a lot
Sure.
of value in my relationship with my parents because they did get to spend time with us.
So you have family, you have friends, you have relationships, you have values that some people don't get to experience. You
Right.
know, and I think that sometimes, I don't need to get philosophical.
that
but-
taught me to make sure that I understand now that I will not put money in front of my family, but I will make money for my family.
Sure. Yeah. I forgot. What I was
But it
gonna
will
say.
take sacrifice on their ends. Like I am going to be gone sometimes, and I am going to have to go show houses late at night.
There has to be sacrifice.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing
Well, you
great
share-
that can come without sacrifice.
Yeah.
You share that why though with your family, and so everyone understands.
Well, my wife gets to stay home with our kids and raise them the way we want. And we're not subjected to daycares, and just all that.
It's a lot of pluses.
Yeah, there's a lot of pluses to it.
Yeah.
What's
So
your why?
I gotta think about that whenever my clients are putting me through the ringer.
Oh yeah, 100%. Well, and that's why I continue to ask questions, because like when you're getting put through the ringer by your clients, are you thinking like, man, I just don't want to be poor. I got to get through this transaction because I don't want to be poor, and I want to be able to make sure that my kids don't experience the childhood that I did. Or what if you thought like that you want your kids to experience the childhood you did with the love and the people surrounding them and like that kind of experience? Like if you changed the mindset just a little bit, I don't know, like what are you thinking when you're going through the ringer? Like, are you thinking
I'm gonna slap someone?
Things? Yeah. So, but is that
That's every day.
Is that how you get through it, though?
I've actually gotten really, really good at understanding why clients are behaving the way they are, and I've gotten really good at not taking it personally.
Yeah,
but I do struggle whenever I see them basically blow up a deal over nothing.
Yeah.
Because
sure.
it's all, and I try to remind them of those things, and you
have
know,
no control
sometimes,
over it, though,
and that's the thing, right? Like I know I'm good at what I do. I'm always trying to be better at it, and so I did everything I could. And if they want to behave this way and lose out on all the money they've already spent on this thing, there's nothing really I can do moving forward.
Yeah.
So,
what's your why?
My why is 100% without a shadow of doubt, like definitely tied to family, my wife and my kids. You know, I struggled for a really long time with identity and, you know, thinking that what I did and who I was and what I provide, not even title. It was more like, you know, how I provided, you know, because I had a lot of great examples around me of, you know, working hard and I definitely wasn't poor as a kid. But at the same time, I also had those experiences where I would, you know, I saw other kids get all this other stuff and I didn't get it. And it's silly things, you know, like I brought lunch to school every day, which, you know, it was silly, but I saw all, you know, I wanted to get the school lunch because it looked so good. Like I wanted pizza on Friday, you know? Which is very much not a problem at all because I got to eat every day. Right. And so, but I had great examples, and my wife, you know, I see her dad and what he's accomplished in life and what he's been able to do for his daughters, for my kids, his grandkids. And like when I see the life that they are able to give them, I want, above everything else, I want my kids to know what it looks like to contribute to society, to you know, treat other people with as much, you know, fairness as you possibly can, but at the same time that you don't sacrifice your values, you don't sacrifice, you know, yourself at the expense of that. And I want to show them like what it means to not quit, you know?
Yeah.
Like if you want something in life, you have to be willing to work for it and to go get it and to sacrifice. And you're going to come up against naysayers. You're going to come up against your own negative thoughts. You're going to come up against hard times, stress, and all of that. And I want to show them what, you know, like, you know, how to fight through that, you know, and be okay on the other side because we have each other at home. And, you know, and honestly, like when I come home and no matter what kind of day I had, when I am at home at night, spending time with them, like it doesn't matter what my day was like. And I feel very blessed and fortunate and, to be able to say that, but I want to be able to give, them a life even better than mine, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And so 100% it comes down to like family values, being a provider, and being able to support my family, but at the same time, like I don't want to find identity solely in that. And so that has been a challenge, because I want to be able to do that regardless of what I do and where I do it and how I do it. But this is the means to be able to get to accomplish those goals. You know, I have aspirations as an entrepreneur, as a business owner. I want to, I want to help other people do the same things for their families, you know? And so I think that I feel a strong sense of responsibility for every single person that has hung their license with bricks. I feel this overwhelming, you know, responsibility to do everything I can to make sure that them and their families get what they want as well.
Which is also why it's baloney when they leave, because you put so much effort into building this thing for the opportunity for others, and it's like they're just like, you know, we're all like children. It's like you don't appreciate what you've been given half the time.
I mean, most people don't know the sacrifice of a business owner, and they never will, because, like, again, people. The money is a big focus, and if it was about money, then bricks would not exist, or it'd be a totally different type of setup, because the way that we are set up, like, people don't realize like how much of the money actually ends up in the hands of our people. You know, you know, and even
if it's like 80% or 70%, like. It's still,
it's way more than that.
Yeah,
it's way more than that. You know,
and that's still not really enough necessarily to run a company.
Yeah, it's closer to 95% of the money that ends up in the hands of our agents, including us. You know, but I forgot where I was going with that. I was going to say that I constantly remind myself that, you know, why we're here is to help as many people as we can realize their goals with building a business and you know, and supporting their families and using real estate as the means for that. And in order to do that, it required, you know, me and my family to work with less, you know, because when I was selling real estate, we lived a really good lifestyle. We were able to, you know, if Jonah wanted to get a toy, it was like, yeah, let's go get it.
Yeah.
And now, you know, that's, you know, something silly, you know, to think that it's just a toy. Like he doesn't need that stuff because he finds joy in just running around outside. Sure. But like we're on a very strict budget. I call it the slingshot effect, because our income has been cut in more than half, and they're more than willing to do it because we believe that it's going to propel it even further. You know?
Yeah.
And so, I you know, teaching them what sacrifice looks like and what hard work looks like, and, you know, going after the things that you want. It's not easy, and I just want to be an example.
And it's like the perfect time too, and like Jonah and stuff, because he's totally watching all that.
He's at
he's going to remember that.
No, 100%. I mean, and he already is like, you know, wanting to be a real estate agent, you know, and talking about it, and you know, whether that's what
like
he ends
do
up
anything
doing,
else, dude. Do anything else.
Whether that's what he ends up wanting to do or not, I don't know. But like, I don't know if that's. I don't think, you know, he's such a creative, artistic person. I don't know, you know, what he'll end up doing, but he definitely takes note, and he knows that I'm gone a lot, but he understands. You know,
I think 2023 was a good lesson for a lot of people.
Oh yes.
Some people may have, you know, just quit the industry altogether and just threw their hands up. But, you know, the sales being as low as they've been since 2008, and if I made it through it, then okay, then I think I can be all right. You know, we had to cut back on a lot of stuff and kind of refocus on our goals and what we want. And, you know, it was a really good lesson for my wife too. And
well, I'm kind of glad that happened, to see it too, because I was thinking about, like, man, that was a 30-year low.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I'm still out here getting listings and stuff. It wasn't what I'm used to, but I was still getting stuff. Right. And I was like, okay, if I can survive in this, then I can survive in anything.
I think it's interesting. Yeah, you're right. And it's interesting that the thing about real estate is in sales in general, it's always changing. It never looks the same, and you're in a market that we don't really have control over. What we do have control over is adjusting with it and learning from it. And I feel like probably 90% of agents that I come into contact with don't even understand that as agents, and then they're trying to coach their clients through a deal. And it's like, because I had a client the other day, he's like, I bought 4 houses in my life, and I've never paid, no one's ever paid my closing costs.
Yeah.
And I go, well, you know, I was like, I understand that, and I commend you for taking care of your own business and, you know, purchasing your own homes. I said, dude, we're in a buyer's market. I was like, we're not going to get around someone not asking us for closing costs.
Yeah.
I was like, now, if we were in a seller's market, you'd probably get more than we listed, and we probably would have sold 2 months ago.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, that makes sense. But I just had to tell him because he has no idea.
Yeah. Well, people forget.
You know, it's like, I've sold 4 houses in my day, and to them that makes them an expert. It's like, well, I sell 4 a month, so you know, who knows better,
right?
Yeah.
I told somebody one time, I was like, how many homes have you sold? They're like 7. I'm like, oh yeah, usually when you get to about 10, like you really understand. And I kept walking. I was like, I can't believe I just said that, but
I think you just scrape. I mean, I think that's just the barrier to entry.
I think so too. And people don't realize, people do a couple and they think that they know everything because they made it through, and they could have done things wrong. And you can do, that's the thing about real estate that is so difficult, is that you can do things wrong and still get the deal closed.
And someone just not catch it.
And no one catches it. It wasn't a problem. So like I posted on social media the other day, like about, you know, I've been doing this for X number of years. And so so I know what I'm talking about. And it's like, well, what if you've been doing it wrong for X number of years? Or what if times have changed and that's not the accepted like norm right now of how we're like educating people? Like, earnest money used to be $500 every time, no matter what. It was just people, it was just used to doing $500 earnest money. And now that is just it should not be accepted as a practice because you make it so easy for your clients to just walk away.
Yeah, that didn't matter what side you're on.
No.
Right. Yeah, and people don't even realize that,
Yeah, they think they're protecting their clients, but they're not.
Our audience is dying, and they're waiting, and they're like, "What is Brooks? What is Brooks Y? I gotta know what Brooks Y is."
You have 30 seconds. Your time starts now.
30 seconds.
I'm kidding.
I was like, well, I'm gonna have to sum it up anyways because it's like a long story. But mostly was because I have very extremely hardworking parents that. Like literally like some of the hardest working people that worked many, many crazy hard hours. And then I'm like, how can I make it short? And then I always just watched my parents try to give me the better life, but they were never able to do it. They were working hard. And so the only thing they could do is really get in credit card debt to try to give me that. And so that's really like the biggest thing for me is just I've worked hard my whole life and I've figured it out. I went to college and realized, okay, this isn't for me. College is great, but now I'm gonna be working hard, doing all the same stuff, and I'm gonna be in the same position that my parents are in. So then I was like, you know what? I'll go through the corporate world. I'll work my way very high up in the corporate world, and I watched it happen not only to me, but like just my hard work not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And then I also saw a lot of people around me because I just care about people and managing people. And I just saw opportunities in so many people as well. And so I really think it's just for me, I just want to help people and give people that chance.
Yeah.
So, because I've been very, very lucky. See, I'm trying not to cry. I've just been very, very lucky that people throughout my entire life has given me certain chances to grow and learn to figure out what I know today. So
yeah, I agree with that. That's good.
Yep.
And like I said, I really think that when you look at it from a macro perspective, and you look at, if you were to get 100 of what society would say are successful people, not monetary, right? Like,
yeah,
just they're successful with what they do, and they're in society. Like, It could be they're able to provide anything and everything that they want. It could be that they're successful in their church. It could be that they're successful in their relationships. It could be they're successful in nonprofit and helping people. Like if you were to get 1,000 people, I really think that you would start to see a lot of overlap and similarities to the why, and it's trying to get people to be able to think at that deep of a level, because every single time that I have a day where I'm just like, man, what am I doing? Why am I doing this? Like, am I cut out for this? And I start to have some negative self-talk. I immediately go back to my why, and I think about my kids, and I'm like, okay, what do I want to show them? And
think about positive memories or something.
Not even positive memories.
Sometimes I'll think of a negative memory, and it'll make me mad, and I'll be like, you know what? I'm not going to be like that.
Yeah. And I think whatever it is for you, you gotta remember that, and you gotta constantly be thinking about your why, and if it's to help other people, well, then you should constantly be thinking about it, and your actions should be showing that like that is what you're set out to do.
And you can't do those things without the sacrifice. You have to understand that too. You can't help people and not have any troubles. I think one thing that we got to make sure that also people understand is a big issue is you have to believe in yourself.
Yes.
100%.
The limiting beliefs will keep people from doing anything. And I was talking to my HVAC guy the other day, and he was talking about how he was making his company all this money, and they had a lake house, and all their kids were going to college, and he's like, I'll never be able to send my kids to college or have a lake house doing this.
Yeah.
And he's doing the same thing. And so he finally quit it, and he took a risk, and he went out and bought some equipment and started his own HVAC company. Now he's sending his kids to college.
Yes.
Because he believed in himself. He saw someone else do it and thought, well, shoot, if they're going to take care of their family, I should take care of mine.
I do believe that there's such a generational change that is happening right now in our current lifetime, from how work ethic and things used to be to what it is now and what the possibilities are, and people are able to learn and find out more stuff from it at that point. And so it's
they're willing to,
right?
Yeah, because I think there's also a generational shift in, like, because of all those opportunities that some of the opportunities look like they're super fun and like they don't require a lot of work, and like it's like the American dream has turned into make as much money as possible for as little work as possible. Like if you can accomplish that, then you have won. And I think that so many people are trying to do that,
and get passive income,
that it prevents them from understanding the sacrifice you actually have to make to make something of yourself. And so it's unfortunate, but it's also very fortunate because it creates tons of opportunities for everyone else.
And everything,
but you
everything
have to
balances too, because if you have a trust fund baby who has, $20 million, there's a very, very good chance that money's gone by the time he passes. And, people that work really hard for their money typically appreciate it more, and they appreciate the sacrifice, and they have more lessons to teach.
Well, that's one thing. That's one thing that I think, for people who are putting their family as their why and providing and supporting and, providing them with a good life, like the things that we have all talked about. I think we had, like, one of the important things for me is I want to do those things, but at the same time, why I say I want to be an example is I want to make sure my kids know what to do with those things when they inherit the things that I've built and given them, so they don't lose it.
Yeah.
They have to go work and earn it for themselves as well. So anyways, I just thought that's such an important thing as a parent to make sure you instill in your kids.
Yeah, like Brittany and I always talk about, like, as we eventually go to have kids and stuff like that, like, we're working obviously to change the generation for our families, but as our kids come up, like, working hard is something that is very on both of Brittany and I's families. And so how can we still teach that in our kids going forward? Because that's really what's going to matter the most.
Right. Well, and really what upsets me the most is how expensive everything is now. Because
that just means they're going to have to work harder.
If I ever made the money that I'm making now, if I thought about it 10 years ago, I would be.
I'm retiring.
Yeah.
Man.
Oh my God, it'd be so great. But then again, like
your
I'm super thankful
changes,
I'm super thankful that I am making the money, so I am able to keep up with inflation right now.
Oh yeah, because if we would have never taken those risks when we stayed in our previous careers,
If I was still barbering,
I would be struggling.
I would be
very struggling.
not be doing okay.
No,
And Claire would definitely be working.
and I would be probably working, well, physically for sure, a lot harder than what I am right now.
You may not have been willing to have your kids when you did.
That's very true.
You know,
Definitely probably wouldn't have the second one.
right? So that's what I was going to say. Like, you know.
Sorry, Harrison.
Yeah, I mean, but it's true. I mean,
Be thankful.
but they're here, and things happen for a reason, and you did the things that you took the risk and did the things that were necessary. And one thing I can say about these two people next to me is that they are two of the hardest working people I know. And they don't have quit, and you guys don't have quit. I just think that it's so important if you're going to accomplish your why, you can't quit. That doesn't mean that you can't, try new things. Like, because we all quit our jobs before and are here now. Like, I'm not saying that you can't like quit to try other things, but you don't quit. When you do quit for something, it's because you're pursuing something that's going to be better.
You're not changing yourself. You're just changing.
Yeah. If you can do real estate, I think you could do anything.
I
agree.
Go
You gotta
start
do it
your
for
food truck.
5
Go
years.
start your salon. It doesn't matter.
Oh, yeah.
If you produce at a high level and you're in the top 5% of the agents, then you're set to do whatever
And you can do it
want.
for 5 years.
Yes.
If you can last 5 years, then I really believe you can do anything.
I really always, if you understand business, you can pretty much run any business. They're all very, very similar. Except obviously you have to learn a little bit of the trade because there's some trades.
Yeah.
That's what, like, there's a little bit, but the core root of things, running a business is still the same. Like, if you have to go run a barber or a pet shop or a brokerage, you still have to find a building. Then you still have to hire people and bring them on, right, and provide things to them.
Slow months, good months.
Yeah, it's all the same. But in real estate, we deal with people and have to really learn and understand how to deal with that. And I think, Casey, you said that this morning. You're like, once I finally figured out like how or where people are coming from and how to read them, that's when I really kind of like started taking off a little bit, I guess you could say. I don't know about taking off in your career, but just mentally.
Right.
So if you understand business, which is real estate, and then also people, then yes, you could dominate in any industry.
Yep.
That's our whys.
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Do we have a would you rather? Would you rather?
El Dizzle, you haven't been looking, have you? No. That's all right. We didn't ask you to.
Okay, I got one.
Okay.
Would you rather work? Well, I'm gonna maybe butcher this, but bear with me. Would you rather, basically like choose your hard? So would you rather be poor and have a job where you do nothing,
Ooh.
and you struggle to pay your bills because that's hard, or would you rather?
Easy.
Would you rather work? Well, for us it is.
Oh no, I have a.
Or would you rather?
Everybody would choose
No.
the answer, but they don't.
They
But
won't
in
do it.
reality, they don't choose. They choose the former.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I kind of have a good one.
Yeah, I have a
we'll do it.
brother-in-law. He has an extremely easy job, and he gets paid well. And I don't even ask him how his job's doing because he laughs and he said, "My job's easy."
I know
Yeah.
people like that, and
And he-
don't get me wrong, I'm jealous.
Yeah, I'm very jealous. He makes good money.
Okay, I have a would you rather. Okay. It's meant to be challenging, Casey. Challenging.
Okay.
Would you rather be poor and be hard? It'd be hard, or be rich and it'd be hard?
Hey, you know what? You know what?
I want to be poor.
I would be interested. I would be interested in hearing what people have to say.
I think that everyone would say rich and hard, but in reality, we know they don't actually choose that because they don't want to do those hard things.
Right, which makes it a good question.
But they're lying to themselves. But
Exactly.
But the would you rather is it's like if you're getting to choose, like just give it to me. Everyone's going to say, give me the money.
I'm just
and
trying to
I'll have it
empower
hard.
them.
Unless somebody wants
Well-
to just live off the land and just homestead and do all
sure,
that, then you
sure,
can
sure.
literally live a very rich life. but
That's
very
really
poorly.
hard too.
Okay, so
Yeah.
here's my would you rather. Okay, would you rather be wealthy one of the wealthiest people in the world. You can give anything to your family that they desire, that your wife doesn't have to work, your kids don't have to worry about money, okay? But you have a broken relationship and you don't, there's not a lot of love at home. You've sacrificed so much that you don't see them at all. Basically, they don't really know who you are, and they want nothing to do with you. Or would you rather be able to have a relationship with them and a loving home, a warm home? You're in love with your wife. Your kids love you. They when you come home, they run at you and hug you. But you're poor.
How poor though?
You're poor.
Like you're gonna lose your house, kind of poor. Like,
no, but you're not living in a fancy house. I mean, you're
not eating out. You're not
eating out. You're eating out canned goods. You're slumming it in a just I don't know.
Taco Bell.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. If you eat out,
that's for rich people now.
No, I was saying you work at Taco Bell.
Oh God.
So that's your would you rather?
I can't wrap a pretty mean burrito, so
I would end up being the general manager. I'll stay at home with the family.
So. I'm gonna work while we're rich.
I think the answer to maybe that question will help you figure out your why too, possibly.
Yeah,
I would rather stay home.
Oh yeah, I'd much rather stay home
and be poor
and filled with love.
I do know those people.
We can grow potatoes in laundry baskets. It's a trend right now.
But also, we know that even if we were in that situation, like you guys, we already know that our personalities would not allow us to stay there.
Yeah.
No. We would go find something or figure something out, you know?
Yeah. If any of us got a job at Taco Bell, they would be offering us the district manager position the next day. So.
Better.
I mean, I
speak for yourself. They'd offer me on the spot.
Well, whatever.
I'm just kidding.
Or they wouldn't hire
if they gave, if we gave all of our resumes,
you're overqualified.
Yeah. Oh no, 100%.
That did happen to me. Buffalo Wild Wings.
We used to have people that at my previous career, and like there was one girl that I hired, and she was like one of the best hires. Like she is like in my position now at the old job. But anyways, I hired her, and she used to own her own restaurant, and we almost didn't hire her because of that, because in their mind, they're like, oh, well, she can't run a restaurant. Like, how is she going to be a good manager for us? You know?
Yeah. I mean, it's a good, fair point. You got to,
So they would probably look at our resumes and be like, what the F?
What happened?
Yeah.
I mean, you got, that is very fair,
Easy. Burnout.
Or they'd be really excited and they'd be like, here you go, $30,000 a year.
Yeah. I'm going to need you 60 hours a week minimum.
60 hours, and you're going to be
can't
over.
Wear jeans.
And you're going to be over 25 stores.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys listening and tuning in. Thanks for watching. Watch every week that we post these. We said good morning today, and if we miss you next time and you don't get to watch it, then good afternoon, good evening, and good night.
Signing off. I'm Casey Tudor. This is Curtis Haddock and Brooke Massey. Yeah.